Imagine getting to sit down with Neil Peart himself, not behind the drums, but across a table, as he tells you the story of what it was really like on the Moving Pictures tour. That's what this video is about today. This was published in the Toronto Star on March 21st of 1981. This is his journal. It's February 1981. Outside, Toronto is buried in snow. Inside a plain rehearsal hall in Thornhill, Ontario, Rush is preparing for what will become one of the most legendary tours in rock history. You can almost hear the chaos. Roadies hammering, drilling, soldering, while Neil quietly writes about it all. The sore fingers, the endless rehearsals, and the staggering $130,000 a week it took to keep the show on the road. He writes about waking up in the fog outside another Holiday Inn, about the crew who work like elves, and about Geddy joking that the first day they sound like nothing, the second day they sound like something imitating Rush, and by the third, they finally start to sound like a band. What Neil captured here wasn't the myth of Rush, it was the life behind it. I think you're going to love this. On and off the bus with Rush. Canada's premier rockers are on tour and heading here for a concert stand. Drummer Neil Peart chronicles their odyssey in an exclusive two-part series by Neil Peart. This journal covers the launching of the Rush Moving Pictures Tour of 1981, from rehearsals through to the seventh show. It is my hope to portray an inside correspondence view of a very real world, a day-to-day existence for 30 regular people who just happen to set up and deliver a rock show for a living. It may not be a real job, but it's certainly a real world. Monday, February 9th, Thornhill, Ontario. Here at the rehearsal studio in Thornhill, we will get sore fingers and stiff muscles, polishing up both the new and old songs and putting together a well-paced set. To be fair to ourselves, the audience, and our crew, it's desirable to keep the show to around 2 hours. But not with 8 albums of material to choose from, we must be ruthless. The crew work like elves all around us, hammering, drilling, painting, and soldering our gear into shape. Some of it is maintenance, some is modification, and some are attempted miracles. Our road manager, Howard Ungerleider, has set up a portable office nearby and is on the phone to all of America, promoters, hotels, drivers, sound company, lighting company, other crew members, and rigging company. It'll cost about $130,000 a week for this tour. As Geddy Lee puts it so well, the first day we sound like nothing. The second day we sound like someone imitating us. The third day we start to sound like a band. Well, almost. Watching him juggling his bass, synthesizers, pedals, and vocals, and Alex Lifeson coordinating his settings, echoes, effects, synthesizers, and guitar changes, I am grateful again that my instrument requires only to be hit by a stick. By the end of the week, we are working our way through the 2-hour show in less than 4 hours. The next step is Wings Stadium in Kalamazoo, Michigan, where we have hired the hall for 4 days prior to our first show there. We will be doing extensive sound checks and full production rehearsals. Tuesday, February 17th, Kalamazoo, Michigan. 3 a.m., the bus, a customized Silver Eagle, has stopped moving as usual. I sense arrival and wake up, having slept since we crossed the border. I am disoriented at first, peering out the window of my bunk into a foggy oblivion. I can only see the familiar green neon of the Holiday Inn sign. Sigh. Sleepily, I struggle into coat and shoes and stumble off the bus into the lobby. We meet up with some of the crew who hadn't been at rehearsals, and it's like a family reunion. We collect our keys and rooming lists, and then it's open house. Doors and suitcases flung open wide, and everyone is wandering the halls, visiting from room to identical room. Many of the guys have been working over at the hall all night and are just getting back. Everyone looks beat, but glad to be back on the road. Amen. Wings Stadium is conveniently next door to our hotel, a typical medium-sized hockey arena with typical medium-sized hockey arena acoustics. This is perfectly suitable for our purposes, as most of our shows will be in such places. Through the everlasting fog outside my window, the illuminated Wings Stadium sign informs me that a local FM station brings Rush and Max Webster on February 20th at 8 p.m. Now, really, What this really means is that in return for the prestige of presenting a concert, the station has exchanged certain promotional favors. Inside the building, which we have played at many times, I find my way to the familiar dressing room, have my stage pass photo taken, then walk out into the dark cavern of the arena. We set out to streamline our stage somewhat this tour, and it looks terrific. Everything is uncluttered and symmetrical, and the sound system has been redistributed above and beside the stage. Howard's new lights look great. 3 round multi-lamp fixtures, one above each of us on stage, and a different, cleaner arrangement on the front and rear of the stage. All told, something like 400 sweltering sun lamps for me to sweat under every night. Our co-producer, Terry Brown, is out with us for scrolling to the top, while to work with engineer John Erickson on the refinement of our live sound. John Linthicum, the chief sound technician, with soldering gun in hand and furrowed brow, probes the bowels of the mixing board, mind a whirl with millivolts, decibels, op amps, and circuits. His counterpart in the lighting crew, the cigarette-chewing Nick Kotos, is similarly doing battle in the pit of doom, the heart of the lighting system at stage right. His is a private inferno, banks of differs, mountainous coils, and clouds of smoke perpetually rising from machines and Marlboros. Larry Allen has my drums back together. Liam Burt has Alex's amps and effects working. Skip Gilder-Sleeve has Geddy's amps and basses ready. Tony Geranios has turned the guitars and the synthesizers. Greg Conley has the monitor set. Now it's our turn. Wednesday, February 18th, Kalamazoo, Michigan. Oh, Father, I have sinned. It seems I have overslept the magical hour of 11:30 a.m. and can no longer be serviced anything resembling breakfast. Sigh. The lifeless nasal voice on the phone is, quote, only following orders and cannot be tempted to stretch the rules. Then we'd have to do it for everybody. Despite a vision of 200 guests simultaneously demanding their contraband grilled cheeses, I vent my frustration in the customary way by smashing the offending receiver on top of the guilty phone. In independent tests conducted all over the Western world, this reporter has found the modern telephone virtually indestructible. I turn to answering a pile of neglected mail and to putting my notebook in order for a new tour's crop of images and ideas. One of the good points of an itinerant lifestyle is the magnitude of input. It is also one of the bad points, as sometimes the input is too overwhelming, and some peace and quiet would be much nicer. Later, after rehearsal and on the way back through the parking lot, Alex and Geddy pause to enact a scene from an imaginary Ingmar Bergman film. Under the visionary direction of G. Lee, Alex plays the stoic, heroic Bjorn. Long shot, wide angle. Bjorn stands alone. The lightest of Nordic breezes ruffles the hair at his noble brow. His chin is raised in defiance, unspeakable sorry. He looks heroic and yet tragic. Leaning into the breeze, yet looking somewhat beaten down by it, Bjorn stands alone. Fade to gray. Thank you. Good night. Thursday, February 19th, Kalamazoo, Michigan, still. Yes, folks, it's the last day before the first night, and we're off to a slow start. Behind my drums is a very secure and comfortable place to be, a kingdom and a sanctuary. I figured out once that I actually spend more time here than I do at home. I suppose that's why the appearance and atmosphere of a drum kit has always been important to me. I don't work at it. I bleed and live it. At last, the intro tape has started. I count us in and, oh, tough break. Geddy's bass is dead. And we grind to a halt. Fix that. One more try. We're away. Physically, the pace is grueling. Even my neck and shoulder muscles ache. I'm working at 10/10ths almost all the time, so I'm very drained at the end. It's a good time for a strong drink. We are prepared. Friday, February 20th, Kalamazoo, Michigan. I have a long conversation with Ray Daniels, our friend and manager, who is in high spirits indeed. The album is doing very well. Moving Pictures has sold over 1 million copies in under a month, and the tour is selling out all over. The novelty and meaning of chart numbers, sales figures, ticket sales, and Gilded Awards has worn away from me. But to a creative businessman like Ray, they are the measure of his art. 7 p.m., The doors are opened and a complete change comes over the building. Music plays on the PA. The air is charged with the energy and anticipation of some 5,000 or 6,000 people. It's more than a crowd, more than a concert. It's a ritual and a celebration. The electricity in the atmosphere is almost tangible. Max Webster opens the show, going on at 8. It's my first hearing of their new lineup, and I'm impressed. It has long been an inscrutable mystery to us why Max haven't caught on down here, as we are fans as well as friends. But this is a promising new beginning. Chicago will be the real test for them. Around 9 p.m., I slip unnoticed between the cases back of the stage and up under the tent, which covers my drums before the show. It's nice to get settled in a bit early to avoid the panic of running on when the house lights go down. The lights are down, the intro tape starts, and there is an incredible roar from the audience. Larry and Dave pull the cloth back as Alex and Geddy come running on, plugging in their guitars as they move over to center stage. Standing in front of me to count in the beginning of 2112. We share a, here goes, look, 2, 3, 4, and we're away. The pace of this set is furious. It's a good thing I'm in good shape this year. We're about 5 songs into it, and I'm soaking before I even have a second to grab a quick gulp of Canada Dry, let alone wiping my dripping face and hands with a towel. I can feel that we are playing well, and the audience roars. It's warm approval. Alex has a colorful new wardrobe in the best of bad taste and is dancing magnificently. Perception becomes snail-like when I'm playing, peeking out for a moment when the going is smooth, then instantly retreating back inside to concentrate on difficult areas. Images are fragmentary and diverse: a face, the roof, a weird hat, stage right crew, Geddy's tapping foot. These are all punctuated by the oblivious inner space of drums, cymbals, hands, feet, tempo. And is this drumstick going to break in the middle of this roll? They always do. Back in the dressing room afterwards, there's a beautiful array of seafood, oysters, crab meat, and smoked salmon. Each day's menu is worked out in advance, with most promoters catering the food. A few minutes spent signing autographs, and I'm on the bus. This is one of my favorite parts of a working day. It's like coming home, the day's work done. It takes a long time to wind down after a show. Going to sleep immediately would be both difficult and very boring. So there's always some diversion on the bus. There are movies on video, Second City tapes, Bogart or Bergman films, lots of comedy, video games, music, just about anything. Ultravox, Visage, Police, Steve Hackett, Talking Heads, Jeff Beck, and talk. I ride up front with our driver, Whitney Whitaker, for a while, talking about sailing and watching the fog-shrouded highway pass under us. Saturday, February 21st, Dubuque, Iowa. A book can be a savior. Reading is perhaps even more flexible than thinking in some cases. Amid the backstage circus of hangers-on, record and radio personalities, favor seekers, and people just looking for someone to talk about themselves to, I need a barrier and an escape, and books provide them. An open book has the power of a crucifix against vampires. I'm fortunate to be reading a hilarious book, A Confederacy of Dunces by John Kennedy Toole. It reminds me of Mervyn Peake or John Barth, and it soon has me laughing out loud. The longest day of all is that of the lighting crew. Along with the stage manager and rigger, they are the first to arrive at 8 or 9 in the morning and don't get away until 2 or 3 in the morning, hence their boastful t-shirts. First come, last to pull out. Like I said, hardcore. Our show goes much more smoothly tonight, and I enjoy myself tremendously. Unfortunately, Alex suffered string trouble, breaking 3. And Geddy also has a few spots of trouble, but generally, it's a good one. The audience is enthusiastic and enjoyable, excepting a few firecracker morons. After the show, I have an interview with a journalist from Japan. The conversation is conducted back and forth through an interpreter, which is a novel experience for me. The questions are thoughtful and well-researched, and I have a fine time shooting off my mouth. The interview goes well, although it takes much longer than usual as everything is said twice. Sunday, February 22nd, Davenport, Iowa. Brune, our producer, was interviewed today by the Japanese people, who have asked if I will speak with them briefly again. Expecting just some final questions, I consented, only to discover that they want some celebrity messages. The "Hello, I'm Neil Peart from the rock group Rush, and you're listening to the Rick Rock Show on..." Oh dear. It is impossible to deliver these hype lines with any sincerity or conviction, and we stopped doing them years ago, perhaps after the first one. The show goes fairly well tonight, with only a few interruptions of electronic or human error. It's a 5-hour drive tonight to La Crosse, Wisconsin, and a day off. Yay. A day off on the road is a wonderful thing. The possibilities are immense. Maybe go swimming, play baseball, hockey, go to a movie, sleep all day, read a book, watch television, phone home, get falling down drunk, etc. I enjoy any of the above, while Alex has perfected the vampire day off, curtains closed, lights off, heat up, full, watching TV in bed. Geddy will often be found leading the cinema club out to a movie. We hope to rent some ice time in La Crosse and play one of our funny, flailing hockey games. Monday, February 23rd, La Crosse, Wisconsin. I've been hunched at this distempered typewriting machine all day and into the night, flailing out almost 8 boring pages. Other people are out at movies, lying around, having fun, visiting each other, phoning home, falling down drunk, etc. It has occurred to me more than once during the keeping of this journal that people who keep journals have less to write about. Tuesday, February 24th, La Crosse, Wisconsin. Tonight, it's my turn for equipment trouble. Bass drum pedal, snare head, tom-tom head, cymbal stands, and warped sticks, all joining in an inanimate conspiracy against me. This is very frustrating, and the constant distractions are very upsetting to the concentration. At such a sensitive time, my usual self-control is of no avail, and one can only frown fiercely and curse them, everyone, blah. Brune took our portable video camera out to the mixing board tonight and taped the show, which we looked at on the way to Chicago, since we have never seen our own show. It's interesting in a home movie kind of way to see the projections and lighting effects that go on around us every night. It's another 5-hour drive tonight, so I think I'll get some Z's. Isn't that absolutely fascinating, listening to all the little things, and especially when Neil's writing it, because of course he was a great writer and had this way of expressing things, but hearing all these different things that they went through during the course of a tour, and especially in those early days when things are just getting started, and all that stuff that happens behind the scenes that we just don't know about, that we're not privy to. You know, going to a concert and they're having problems and issues and things aren't working right, and a lot of times we just don't notice. And so it's pretty interesting listening to all this stuff as it happens behind the scenes. Hey, if you're not following the channel, please follow the channel, like the video. I'd love to get your comments down below. And with that, have yourself fantastic day.